Abusia mamu kwa ba enfama K Black Media. Abusia yenya ebekaya enchai ena former first lady ye maame Nana Opoku Agyeman-Rawlings etimi enya ne baabi koya eya awrehosem edema Ghana pa ye ene Ghana afidie ene ensem a ekoso aye tere de ene entimi enchai yikura na abusia opani etimi edi ensem bi atudwo a ye papa yi eye owura Elvis Darko etimi akasa ona ye director edema new center kowa krata no na wo chese ye mami adwumaso a watimi ababo ama Ghana ni titiru ene se ye mami ene begina mu ekasa ma ema ne nkwada sebe mema bi etiecho mu fa hodie so enka ne na bema bi wale oba bi na wode na dane abroba na obo no nei mami ene be kasai ede ma ene emanya fa hodie na de mema deserve no ema so deserve ne nei sa abasobodi e wose yede ma no Ghana fo entumi amfa ma no na abusia owieye no na owura boache dankwa enso atimi akasa we member edima MPP amonyokuo chese ampa asama a wonua eka no no kore efrise ye kasa Ghana ha sei obi atumi akopa ye ede ama untimi enyi former late president eyire Efrim ye maame na Jane Opoku Agyeman-Rawlings untumi enyi ni Efrim efrise adwuma watumi aye ne de adwuma so abusua ene ensam de omo atumi akabi afa ye maame ho abusua kamo na yenkoje enchiremu no emra sesi yenkotie owura Elvis Darko eni owura boache dankwa ensemra sesi
a wife of a military leader who decided that position should not just be about loading herself around and driving in big cars and then holding big bags and then enjoying herself, but she decided that it should benefit the female gender. Because there seems to be a disparity, a wide gap between the male and female gender. And she had just set up an organization. And that organization, what I like about it is the economic empowerment aspect of that organization. How to make sure that women in rural communities are able to engage in basic business activities so that they can earn a living. They can support their children. They can support their husbands to take care of their kids. For me, it's like the biggest thing I've seen in this country by a single individual who is interested in people's well-being economically. And I think that, as I said, we've not celebrated her well. If you look at her life and journey to where she's gotten to, she did something that every Ghanaian needs to say, thank you. Look, I believe that she played a major role in Ghana having an interstate succession law. She played a major role in Ghana having an interstate succession law. I believe that she played a major role to ensure that there were women who played key roles in the government of Jerry Rawlings, even when it was a military leader. Because if you look around, as military leadership is largely dominated by men, you hardly will find women playing critical roles in military regimes. But if you look at Papa J's military regime, even though military, you still see women at very important positions. It's not like a men thing. We have gone to do the coup and we are the one who must govern. And if you look at it throughout, even to 92 elections to all the way to 2000, you see that even in the government of that NDC led by Jerry Rawlings, women were at very important positions. And if you look at the interstate succession law, I believe that that law has done more for women in this country than any other law. Because until the passage of that law, women had no recourse when husbands decide to deal with them in a very bad way. When husbands pass away and families decide to take everything away from women, there was no legal recourse for you at that time, because we say everything is rooted in our culture and therefore the culture takes precedence. So that single law made sure that women are no longer treated in that manner. And if you decide to take on the family or a man who is trying to outreach you in a certain way, the courts are there to help. And I think that law in itself, I believe that this woman had a very big hand in it. And that law has changed the status of women in our society significantly up to today. And I think that the Nana Konadu deserve credit for that.
Right.
And
definitely Ghana is mourning. And we're mourning on a sad note, but also on a very triumphal journey of Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. For me, as I consider her in this Fourth Republic, I would consider her as a trailblazer in Ghanaian politics. And you are aware very well that she's etched her time really in the fabric of Ghana and would continually be remembered by the good people of this country. As we reflect upon her life and journey, I'm certain that Ghana has gotten to a place where a number of her aspirations has been achieved. We have in this country the first female vice president, and clearly you are aware how Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings distinguished herself as an individual beyond being the first lady of the Republic of Ghana, the longest serving, starting up the 31st December Women's Movement, which was clearly to affirm the fact that women have a role and women have a place in our Ghanaian polity. She hammered in that very well. In the startup of her own political party, NDP, you would have ordinarily thought that as a wife of a former president, I mean, her journey should come to an end when the presidency of her husband comes to an end. But she felt that there was more that she could do, and continually she edged up for more, which is why she set up the NDP. And she wrote a book, very, very excellent book that I've read back to back. It Takes a Woman. Clearly you see that women's role are important. I chanced upon some interviews that were done about her and how she recounted the fact that she was going for a loan in a bank and they asked that she either brings the husband. So it was almost like a country that had been built on patriarchy, and she demystified that. And so today, if you are a young woman who can be able to access loan, is credited to some of the works that Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings has done. And we would miss her dearly, miss her fortitude, her resilience, her standing up for women's rights and speaking up very clearly. She has been a great example of a couple because she stood very strongly with her husband all throughout the PNDC era, all throughout the AFRC. She's been a very formidable woman. And for me, I would consider her and her husband, both of them of blessed memory, I consider both of them as good examples in terms of marriage, publicly from what we saw, standing with your husband, and the husband also standing with her, because you realize that the husband didn't stand in the way of the pioneering of the NDP, fully gave his blessing for the wife to be able to flourish and live out to her God-given desires. And so it's a very sad day for Ghana. It's a very sad day for Africa. She epitomizes all, and a great model and a great example that we will continually remember when we mention her name. And may her soul rest in peace.